Welcome back to ABSI Exponential 2023. We're live at booth 3909 for NestGen Xpress. My name is Jason Sansucci, your host with the most, and I am honored to be here with the CEO of FlytNow, Nitin Gupta. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Jason. Thank you for that really wonderful welcome and waking up everyone.
Yes. Good morning. If you didn't have coffee, hopefully that helped you wake up this morning. We're going to jump right into the questions today because I think this is going to be an amazing interview. So let's get started. So Nitin, how important is the concept of partner ecosystems in accelerating drone autonomy? And what role do different stakeholders like hardware manufacturers, software developers, and regulatory bodies play in this ecosystem?
Right. So Jason, if we look at the history, how our industry has evolved. So initially we were all trying to build everything ourselves. So there were so many companies that were offering full stack solutions, right? From offering the hardware, the software, the data processing, and generating the reports, everything for the customer. But today, if you look around on the show floor, there are very few of them left. And why that has happened is because every layer has become so specialized in itself. The hardware is very sophisticated today. The software has become so much more evolved, and now you need to integrate so many different devices, so many different sensors, and then the needs for data processing are very different for each application. So whether you are doing it for mapping or you're doing it for public safety or survey, so everything needs very different treatment of data. Right now, trying to do everything under a single company is going to be extremely challenging, of course, right? Yeah. And whatever we saw in computer world or the IT world, or what we saw in the mobile industry. So everywhere, there is a concept of partnerships and building ecosystems where different companies are focusing on different layers of the stack, and then we all kind of come together. All these layers are interoperable, and you can mix and match things in order to create perfect solutions for each need. Right. So that is where our industry is headed as well. And as more and more applications become mature, there will be need for very specific solutions for solving each problem. And to do that, the best way is partnerships. The best way is that you focus on one layer of the stack, and then whatever is the need of the customer, you put together or mix and match those components in order to create an ideal solution for that one customer.
That absolutely makes sense. And we've seen so many companies fail at trying to do everything. So there are still some challenges, though. So what are some of the biggest challenges that arise when building those strong partner ecosystems for drone autonomy? And how do you overcome those obstacles to ensure a successful collaboration?
Right. So see, first of all, on the technical front, so basically there are challenges at different layers. So let me first of all talk about the technical integration and technical how do we make these different things work together, right? So you need some sort of a one layer, sort of an operating system, or you call it the glue or something, which provides those standards or provides the standard ways of making these devices talk to each other. And not just devices, it would be different systems, it would be software systems, the hardware systems, etc. But there has to be a common bus, and you have these different things connected to this bus, and this bus or this glue is helping them talk to each other. So evolution of these standards and making sure these standards are robust enough and they are versatile enough to cater to different needs, requirements of each partner. For example, let me give you an example. So as FlytNow, we are trying to build this layer or this glue, right, which through which we are able to connect different docking stations, different drones, parachute systems, sense and avoid systems, and so on, right? And now each docking station could be could have a different mechanism. It could be a charging kind of a docking station or a swapping kind of a station. The way the docking station opens could be very different from each other. Now coming up with a common standard so that using that common standard, you are able to give commands to a docking station and make it operate, irrespective of the kind of mechanism it has, the kind of internal systems it has. That is where it becomes challenging. And having a common standard that caters to all different docking station manufacturers. So it took us a couple of years, working with 15 different docking station manufacturers to understand the nuances of variations in this technology across the manufacturers, and then come up with common standards now which are able to work with all of these docks and hopefully future docks as well. And we have to continue to invest in kind of upgrading this protocol, upgrading this standard, so as to continue to meet the future needs of the customers as well as the partners.
Absolutely. So I have a ridiculously serious question to ask you. So with these strong partner ecosystems helping to accelerate drone autonomy, can we expect a reality TV show featuring those dramatic relationships and alliances between these partners? We could call it the Real Housewives of Drone Valley.
Right. So as I mentioned, so see, one challenge is on the technology front, which we are kind of able to overcome by designing these protocols and standards of making different things talk to each other, work with each other. Of course, there is a people angle as well to partnerships, right? And that is where your question kind of becomes relevant, and I can relate to that because they're trying to work with so many partners who often are also competitors with each other. Like we're working with different docking station manufacturers, and of course, they see. They look at each other as competitors. So it becomes very important to build that level of trust with each of the partners. They should understand and they should realize that having these partnerships and having a common platform is good for the industry. And what is good for the industry is good for all of us, because when the industry grows, all of us benefit from it. Right. So, helping them understand that bigger vision that today we are only looking at the tip of the iceberg. There is such a big industry that is being unveiled as we speak, and in next 5 to 10 years, we expect there will be millions of drones, autonomous drones with docking stations and so on. And there is, the size of the pie will be huge, and there is enough for everyone to, be content with. So,
okay.
So kind of solving these problems at that people level, helping them understand why it is important to have common standards and come together and work together to make this industry large for everyone.
I think that's an important part of the conversation. Absolutely. But how do those different regulations and standards, talk about that for a second, how do they impact the development and implementation of those partner ecosystems, and particularly cross-border collaborations? And how can we achieve a harmonious and interoperable ecosystem?
Right. So we have been working with partners across the world. We today have BVLOS approvals in 8+ countries. And each of these BVLOS approvals came through a different regulatory body who had a different way of certifying and looking at safety. But what is interesting is, as we worked with different partners and different geographies and so on, what we realized is the underlying technologies are very similar. The needs of the customers are very similar, as well as the requirements of the regulatory bodies are very similar, because they're all looking at safety. They are all looking at ways to ensure that systems are safe, their skies are safe, everything works in a harmonious way. They might have some nuances here and there. Some regulatory bodies might ask you to send data in a certain format or to make certain things be visible on the dashboard in a different way. So there are some nuances here and there which separate them from one another. But overall, the basic understanding of what is safe and how to make sure that your operations are safe is pretty common across the spectrum, right? So what we have realized is almost 80 to 90% of the systems remain same across geographies. Of course, there are some minor nuances that are specific to each geography and each use case. And through this partner ecosystem, we are able to kind of attend to those or cater to those, because the entire platform has been designed in a modular way where we have APIs and modules and widgets and so on. And depending on the country, depending on what the regulators are asking, we can quickly again modify, make those mix and match modules, remove one module, attach another module. So in a very, within a day or so, you can customize and create a system that caters to that geography and that requirement.
So can you share with us some of the things that you're doing that make it easier for more companies to come together in this ecosystem to offer a fully integrated drone autonomy solution?
Right. So that's a very good question, Jason. So as I mentioned, so we are positioning ourselves as the glue, right? As a layer that helps all these partners come together. Like, for example, you will see on our booth, we have Iris Automation, we have L-Side, we have AVSS Parachute, we have different docks and drones and so on. So now it becomes very important that we design this glue in a way where we are designing these protocols and standards for different parachutes to come and talk to our systems, different sense and avoid systems to come and talk to the main glue or the main bus. Right, so basically evolution of these standards or making sure that these standards are very well documented and it is very easy for different partners to comply with those and attach their offering to that common bus. That is one thing that we are doing. The second thing we are doing is we are also now in the works for offering a sort of an app store so that our partners will be able to follow the standards of the app store and make a lot of these modules compatible with our ecosystem in a very, very hands-off manner. So they will not be very dependent on our team to work with them and do all of that hand-holding and integrations, which usually ends up taking several months. So we are trying to reduce that time to order of days or weeks instead of several months or whatever, quarters. And that will help us accelerate the number of partners that we can have on the platform, and thereby make it easier and easier for our implementation partners to go and implement solutions for each customer's specific need.
Wow. I mean, it's basically the easy button. You're making it really easy for people to plug into this system, which I think is going to really expand not just the use cases, but expand the use of the glue. So we can just call you Elmers at this point. It's good. Well, you've heard it here, folks. This is a great way to kick off this day 2 at Exponential. NestGen Xpress going strong today. Please stop by booth 3909 so you can check out all of the episodes, and these will all be live on Flight Now TV after the event. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Sajjan. Wonderful having being here. Thanks.
Absolutely. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye.